Hey, Jason, thanks for joining me today to talk about a number of things. You're Jason Murff, of course. You're down there in Texas, but you're an Army veteran, a nonprofit supporter, and a small business owner. So I want to spend some time really spending a lot of our time today talking about entrepreneurship and really some lessons that you can provide other veterans who are just thinking about that, or maybe have already jumped in and doing that. But before we do that, why don't you introduce yourselves to us? Introduce yourself to us. Tell me when you joined the Army, what you did in the Army, and then when you transitioned out.
Okay. Jason Murph. I'm currently 29 years old. I spent 3.5 years inside the Army. Joined back in 2012. Took me a little bit because I had some previously broken bones, metal plates, and all that kind of stuff inside me before I joined. So it took about 8 months to actually get in. Once I was in, I went in as an 11 Bravo and ended up getting stuck up at Fort Myer, the old guard, and spent my time there and got out in 2015. Moved back to Texas, went to school to become a professional pilot, and ended up dropping out of school and starting up a seasoning company.
Yeah, great. So a couple quick things on that. So yeah, I used to live in Arlington, Virginia. So we were 5 minutes away from Fort Myer. I used to go to the PX there and the gym and even the bowling alley and all that. So pretty cool. So did you use a GI Bill to go to flight school?
Yeah, so that was actually the plan was whenever I got out, I was going to transition, do fixed wing up to my commercial license, and then transfer over to rotor wing. I made it just before I took my instrument written and oral. We ended up having some complications. I have another business that I started before I was in the military. I took some time off of school for that. The school didn't like that, even though that they had approved me for that time off. And it ended up taking so long to the point where I was just kind of like, just whatever, fail me, guys. I'm going to go do my own thing.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's talk about that then. But before you start talking about your business, what about your transition out? How was that?
It was good. I did what I normally tell guys not to do. So I just kind of sped through everything.
Yeah.
I didn't focus on a whole lot of stuff because I already had set in my mind this is exactly what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And this is how I'm going to do it. And that's somewhat how it went, but at the same time, I really wish I would have sat down and taken a lot more time whenever I went through the ACAP process.
Yeah.
To really take that in, because there is good knowledge and information out there that the military has you go through. It's just a lot of times we're like, heck yeah, we're getting our DD-214. Let me get the heck out of here.
That's right. Yeah. All right. So now you're the CEO and founder of Grill Your Ass Off. So let's talk about how that happened. How did you come up with the idea? How did you launch a business? And when did you launch it?
So I launched it back, we filed the initial paperwork for it in April 20th of 2016. Okay. While I was in school, I was in between two of my classes, and I went down to the pilot's lounge because no one is really ever inside there. I had all the lights turned off, so no one knew I was in there. And I would go and work, and I would build a website for my firework business. And then that day I decided, you know what, screw it, I'm going to file the paperwork for it. And to rewind before that, the idea actually started, my parents own a hardware store, and a lot of the foundation of business and giving back comes from them. And every year they do a cook-off called Grill Your Ace Off for Ace Hardware, and it's a fundraiser for Children's Miracle Network. So 100% of the proceeds go from that. In the past 4 years, they've actually been the #1 fundraiser for Ace Hardwares, for Children's Miracle Network. So the original idea was, hey, let's do a Grill Your Ace Off seasoning. Talking with Ace Corporate, they really didn't like that name due to some legalities that I didn't know about back then in that world. So I ended up pulling it back down and had a couple drinks one night, came up with the idea for Grill Your Ass Off, and paid a kid $15 on Fiverr to draw me a donkey on a grill. And we ended up with this right here.
There you go. That was good.
So
okay,
that was kind of the turning point where it was, hey, let's get everything going. I had 4 seasonings that I'd already kind of crafted up together. And the initial goal is to go straight in B2B, sell to hardware stores, grocery stores, everything like that. And I realized very quickly that it's not that easy. Not everyone wants to buy your stuff because you think it's a good idea.
Yeah. So why you? Why seasoning? What the heck do you know about it?
Uh, at that time, I had no idea. I mean, I never planned. There was no time in my life, especially before or during the military, that I was like, I'm going to get out. I'm going to start the seasoning company. Everything's going to be great. It was really a long history of foundations being built back from growing up as a kid, always cooking with my mom, my dad, and understanding like, hey, this is what makes this taste really good. Let's try adding this. And then while I was in the military, I got into doing fitness competitions. And with fitness competitions, you eat very bland and boring food.
Right.
So, and I'm sure you know, after living in DC, they really don't have flavor like we have here down here in Texas.
Not even close.
So yeah, I would get my family to send me up seasonings from Texas.
Okay.
And once I started doing it a whole bunch and living off post, and really cooking for these competitions, I started to learn like this ingredient is what makes this taste really good. Now let me try and pair it with this one, and slowly became to where I was mixing my own and then going on from there.
That's interesting. So you don't necessarily have a strong background in this, but you realize it's something you could do, and you stuck with it. And
yeah, I'm not a culinary professional whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, you already mentioned one issue that you assumed in the beginning it would be B2B, business to business, and maybe that wasn't the right assumption. Before we unpack that, what advice do you have for other veterans who are right now where you were back in 16 and 17?
Anything worth time and worthwhile is going to take a while.
Yeah.
So patience is the biggest thing. Patience. Just I had no idea that everything was going to snowball into this while I was transitioning out. I was going on to one goal, and I mean, we just hit our 3-year anniversary for Grill Your Ass Off, and like we're just getting our feet wet and just getting started. So there's a long list ahead of this. But and as you know, patience.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like you said, doing something well, anything worth doing is worth doing well, and that takes time. No matter if it's learning karate or starting a business or fitness competitions, whatever it is, you know.
And do what makes you happy. Find your passion and go in 100% with it. Whether that's buying and selling baseball cards or doing, woodworking. Find what makes you happy and go after it.
So when you launched Grill Your Ass Off, were you on your own? Was that a completely solo venture, or did you have a team around you?
No, it was a completely solo venture. Initially, I had started talking with a good buddy of mine, Miller. We kind of played back and forth with ideas about the company, the logos, the names. He was living in Mississippi at the time. And whenever it came down to everything, he straight up told me, hey, you're the one leading the charge and doing everything. Just go ahead and run away with it. I want to see you do good with it. So I broke off, did all the initial filing, and then ended up just being me in my apartment in Waco for the start.
And what kind of resources did you have to get that going financially? And I guess you just figured out even how to file a business. You probably just figured that out on your own.
Google. That was my biggest financial resource. I'm the first deposit into the bank account was $1,100 because that's all I had to play with. I was living off of the GI Bill and what I was making with my firework business at that time, which I had just taken back over from a family member. So really, and that was one of my big things why I stayed in school as long as I did, just to get a little bit more from the GI Bill so I could be able to pay rent.
Oh, it's important. I mean, when I started my business as a speaker, I was still working full-time, actually as a lawyer. And I talked to plenty of other small business owners, veterans, and others saying it's really hard to go all in at one time. I recommend starting slowly and making sure you have a viable product while you have another steady source of income coming in. Do you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. And that was one of the things that I learned really hard about, transition. Once I've transitioned, started the business, and I saw that we did one demo, and our very first demo ever was in June of 2016. And at that demo, the night before, we had all of our bottles of seasoning show up, all in the wrong size bottle
Oh,
from our packaging company.
oh,
So none of our 16-ounce labels would fit the 8-ounce bottles. They would overlap, covering the nutrition information, the barcode, and everything like that. And we were doing a demo at a hardware store, so that's all information that needs to be on there. And I ended up staying up all night, packaging. This is one of the original bottles.
okay.
This is an Avery shipping label that I bought from Office Depot.
Yeah, yeah.
So I ended up on Office Depot and Avery.com printing off labels all night,
Yeah.
hand labeling all the bottles. But we sold almost every single bottle that next day. And I realized, like, hey, this is going to be great. I'm going to pull everything down, trademark it, and get everything that I need in place. I dropped out of school, and the first couple months, the first 2 months of the websites, actually, we sold one bottle of seasoning on the website and sold, I think, like, I don't know, $200 B2B. And I was like, how am I going to pay rent? This is a major slap in the face.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I bet every entrepreneur, every business owner has a story like yours, like with the labeling, something not working out the right way. And you just have to be creative and inventive. It's all on you to come up with some solution right immediately. But I think being a veteran, we're well suited for that kind of nimble mindset and being creative and being okay with taking responsibility.
And that's one of the biggest things. Like, people say that your military service, what you've taught, only transitions to certain things. And I think that's complete BS.
Yeah.
Everything you learn in the military can transition to anything. It's just you putting it to action. Just in that situation, adapt and overcome. I had a failure. I learned from it. And now I have a way to advance and pass it.
Yeah, the problem is if you don't learn from that mistake. Like, making mistakes is fine. We're all going to keep doing them till the day we die. If you don't learn from it, though, that's on you then.
And that's one of I love failure in the aspect of you learn from it. If you take that in, and that's what everyone should do, is start to learn. Failure is a school. That I went through the school of failure. That's where I got my degree, and I'm getting a degree every day.
Right. Have you had any other formal training since you started your business? Have you taken any courses or been part of a boot camp or a incubator or anything like that?
I've taken part in a couple of networking events. I mean, you obviously know we do a ton of bird business together.
Yep.
But a lot of the boot camps that I've been to, what I experience is it's someone just teaching you who's never owned a business and never been there. So they can only teach you so much. They don't know everything that goes on. So what I typically try and do is surround myself with other business owners. And that goes back to, you always hear people say, surround yourself with someone who motivates you and pushes you.
Yeah.
And that's 100% true. If you're surrounded by negativity or people who just latch on to failure and never get past it, then it's just going to drag you down with them 100%.
Yeah, I agree. And certainly it's true that experience is the best teacher. So if you're talking to other folks who maybe a couple of years ahead of you and happy to share, then all the better. Your business has naturally grown over time. Can you talk to us a little bit about how it's different today than it was 3 years ago?
3 years ago, it was just me packaging stuff up inside of my garage.
Yep.
We were just talking the other day. I don't have anything with me, but it used to be, for sample packs, I had a little Ziploc baggie and a coffee scoop, and that's how I would measure out my sample packs. And now we have, full-blown packaging equipment to where we can flip it on and do 1,000 sample packs in an hour.
Wow.
So it went from my garage, it progressed into a 30 by 60 shop. We had some failures and everything like that. Ended up going back down to a garage, all the way down to fulfilling on a kitchen table, and then rebuilding from that point. Right now, we're currently working out of a 6,000 square foot warehouse.
Wow.
We got 4 people on our staff. So all veterans except for one. We do have one first responder. You know him, James from Uniform Humor. So we always give him crap because he's the only one that's not a
Yeah,
vet.
yeah.
And then we started with just 4 seasonings. Currently, right now, we're at 8 or 9 seasonings.
Wow.
Working on the label for our 10th. We have 3 different barbecue sauces. We got 6 different flavors of beef jerky. We have apparel, accessories, stickers, magnets, anything you could really think of, and just an ungodly amount of support from the veteran and first responder community.
Is that hat you're wearing one a grow your ass off hat?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yep. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we just launched all the leather patch hats and then as well beanies on the website. So
okay, very cool. I know on your website you offer a discount to veterans and first responders.
Yep, that's it's a small percentage that we can give for what they've given for our country.
Yeah. But I think it's just a point. It's just the point that you're saying, look, you guys are special, men and women. You've done something for our country. Let me give back how I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you talk about all the different seasonings and things you have now, who makes it? Like, you have a team that does that, or you outsource it, or how is that part handled?
So are you talking about like the initial like flavor profile and everything?
Yeah.
So originally, the original 4, we ended up doing it just pretty much by myself. I took everything that I've ever used so far in my life or other seasonings that I did like, and I kind of reverse engineered everything to figure out why do I like this and what ingredients are these. And once I found those, I ended up working with a really good packaging company who specializes in just seasonings, and we have a very good partnership with them, and bringing them those ingredients and everything, they're able to tell me like, hey, a lot of times you don't have access or resources to some of the stuff that's not out there in, a traditional grocery store or online.
Yeah.
So they were able to bring me more ingredients that I've never heard or seen before.
Sure.
And then tell me, hey, if we take this out and put this in, it'll extend your shelf life. That's another thing I didn't know.
Yeah. Right.
There's so much stuff that goes on. You don't think like, oh, this one ingredient's going to cut my shelf life to 6 months instead of 2 years. That's a big
difference. Yeah.
So, and then by doing that, I'm able to keep everything natural, not add any anti-caking agents or preservatives to make it sit on the shelf longer, because I'm using the correct ingredients to make it last 2 years on the shelf. So by getting that partnership with them, I was able to make a relationship, and now we can take a simple idea of, hey, like with our taco and fajita seasoning, my goal with that was I wanted to do something cool and creative that not a lot of people have done yet. So we took a traditional beef style seasoning that we always liked and used, and added ingredients like a citric acid and a specialty true lemon powder to be able to help break down the muscle fibers while you're letting your fajitas or chicken or beef marinate and tenderize them. So they're able to provide us with a lot of cool ingredients that we don't have access to, and then help perfect everything, package it, and then be able to give you the best product at the end of the day.
So it's critical that you found good partners.
Yeah, it's Bruce from Strike Force told me this a long time ago. It's not about what you have, it's about who you know.
Yeah.
And that's the most accurate statement I've heard yet in business.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's talk about your team a little bit. You already referenced them a little bit. Who are they? And just describe them real generally.
So we have Justin. Justin is all of our packaging and fulfillment inside of our warehouse. So he's not happy right now with all the Black Friday and Cyber Monday orders that just came through.
Yeah.
So we're keeping him fueled up. We have James Kidwell, who runs all of our social media and customer service. He's actually out of North Carolina and runs the page Uniform Humor. So we're able to work remote online through everything. Jeremy Stills, who you had the pleasure of meeting the other day, he's out of Gatesville, Texas, so he's about 40 minutes from me. He does all of our wholesale B2B business and some of our B2C business interactions. And then we have Annie, who lives out in California, who's our HR / marketing / grammar police.
Yeah. It's pretty cool that you're able to bring in people from around the country remotely to work together and make it happen.
Yeah, no, it's fun, and that's one of the hardest things is finding good help and reliable help. And with the day and age we live in, everything you can do on this device right here,
Yeah.
everything. And
Yeah.
being able to have that, we're able to work remote. So if before in a regular brick and mortar store, if someone lived in a different state, you couldn't do business with them unless it was over the telephone. They couldn't, run your email campaigns or anything like that. And now I can pick up the phone and FaceTime with you or Annie or anyone like that. And it's very, very fun time to be in business.
Yeah, cool. When I talked with Jeremy at the Burbers event, he said being part of your team and working with you has literally changed his life. That's a pretty powerful statement. And it's not like he's some underachiever. He's a full career in the Army. I mean, he's a great guy and he's highly skilled. So how does it feel to know that you're having that big of an impact on your employees and people who work with you?
I mean, it just gave me goosebumps with you saying that. So, I mean, every day they're not only are my customers, but my team is the reason why I wake up motivated and ready to go every single day and want to destroy the previous day. Like they give me the purpose, the motivation that I need to continue to be successful.
Do you have any advice for folks who are getting started on how you can create that kind of culture or attitude where people who work with you on your team are motivated to keep doing it and want to do a good job every day?
One of the biggest things, starting off with a small business, and for any business owner, the fact that you own the business, you have a different passion than anyone else will ever have.
Yeah.
So to not harp on your employees that hard, because they're not going to have the same motivation and passion. They could be the greatest person in the world, but they're not going to love the business the way that you love the business.
Sure.
So don't have the same expectations out of them.
That's a great advice. I had a friend who, he's a successful lawyer, but he had a business as a restaurant owner for a while. And he would get frustrated because he'd say, I'm working 18 hours a day, I'm doing this and that. And so-and-so, is only putting in this amount of time, is not as committed. I'm like, why should she care about your business? Right. She's there to get a paycheck and do her job. Her job is not running errands for you and all the other crap that you wish you were doing. Like, that's not her job. So it's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and another thing is just what we learned inside the military is, take care of each other, and that good leadership skills that you learn on how to police each other up, stay on top of each other, make sure everyone's good. I utilize that every day.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So we mentioned marketing, but we didn't really unpack it at all. As you've grown over 3 years, your marketing must have changed, right? So let's talk about what it was and what it is now, and maybe where you're trying to get to.
The biggest thing for marketing, whenever we got started, it was I didn't really know how to do it properly.
Yeah.
So I literally started with a horrible website and posting stuff on my Facebook.
Okay.
That grew to, getting the business side of things on social media. And then the little light that kicked everything off was Instagram. And just being able to post content consistently on social media. So we started off just doing like one post every other day because I didn't have a lot of content. And as I saw that start to gain traction and we started getting customers in, I realized I need to be mass producing this content. So at that point, I learned how to take a photo of a steak 30 times and be able to utilize those 30 photos throughout the year and it not ever look like the same steak.
Yeah.
So, and with that, being on top of everything, a lot of people ask me, hey, what's your year-long marketing plan or 3-month marketing plan? And I honestly don't have those. We obviously have strategic, sales dates and everything like that we plan for inventory-wise, but marketing-wise, it's a day trade. Every single day, everything's changing.
Okay.
So the biggest thing for me, what I've learned is being able to put out mass content every single day. So as of right now, our game plan is we do 3 to 4 posts a day, and that's Instagram and Facebook for feed post. We do anywhere from 5 to 15 stories a day on each one of those platforms. We do 2 to 3 Snapchats a day. We do currently 1 to 3 TikTok videos a day, which is crazy to me. But it's organic growth. And then LinkedIn as well. Same with Twitter. So
That's a lot.
Go ahead.
That's a lot of posting.
It is, and that's where James comes in to help. It was just me doing really everything for about the first 1.5 to 2 years, and then me and James slowly became really, really good friends, and then kind of learned each other and how we work. And I went to him and I was like, "Hey, I need help. I'm dying over here."
Yeah. 'Cause you got a business to run.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot just outside of the posting. No one sees the back end of a business because that's not the pretty side of it. Everybody wants to see the glamour and the glory and the good looking steak.
That's right. How do you know if the posting on Instagram, for instance, is converting into people coming to your website?
You can do little stuff like discount codes and everything like that, but as well, with it being 2019, you have the ability to be able to track everything analytical wise. So I can hop on Google Analytics and see every single time someone comes from Instagram and things like that. That's been our biggest thing, but also just listening to feedback. Like I recommend every business owner take the time and realize, like, every time you post on any of these platforms, it's free. Costs $0. You already have a phone. Don't lie to me and say that you don't. You take a photo, take a video, anything you post, it's free, and it's getting out there organically. Like, there's no reason for you to be not producing massive content. And then listen to your customers, see what the interactions are, and build off of that. Don't be afraid and hold back of, I'm not going to post this photo or this video because I'm worried about negative comments or mediocre comments. Like, no one cares because they're all going to forget about it tomorrow. So post, review, and reverse engineer.
Yeah, that's great advice. I remember one time you and I talked at one of the Burbiz events, and you said that you were doing something with Black Rifle Coffee Company where they were going to promote you on their show, something along those lines. Tell us how that went and what happened.
That was great. We went down. I did the Launch Code podcast with Evan Hafer. So we were able to sit down and go over, similar to what we're talking about, but the history of Grill Your Ass Off, what phases we've struggled, and then how veterans do business differently than non-veterans in the way that we communicate, interact, and then help a lot of times each other grow in business, and the constant communication and updating daily on everything. And then as well, we partnered with them to where if you're a coffee club subscription member, you get a special discount on grillyourassoff.com.
Wow. So what impact did it have on your business by doing that?
It's great because not only that are we able to tie in together. So their customers and my customers, they get to hear a backside and the backstory to where if you are someone that's interested in getting in business, you get to hear not only how I went into business, but also how Evan went into business and all of the struggles and adventures that we've had together in business. But not only by that, we're able to offer a partnership through their subscription service. So it not only builds their platform by offering their amazing customers great discounts on different products, but it also brings in some of their customers on my end and be able to offer them a good discount to be able to get that product in hand.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Collaboration, and obviously you have your head on a swivel. You're constantly listening and looking for opportunities.
Oh yeah, always. Jocko Willink said, for one to do everything, one must do nothing.
That's a good point. At the recent Well, let me ask you, how important is it, besides this opportunity as Black Rifle, because they're in Texas down there with you too, how important has it been being located in Texas? Has that had an impact on your business at all?
I think it is because everything with the business, I want to have a clear mission on everything that we do. So one of the biggest things is we're veteran owned and Texas made.
Yeah.
Everything is made here in Texas. Texas resonates anywhere in the world. I used to go around with all the guys who never had been to Texas or lived in Texas while I was in the military. And any restaurant that we went to, I can point out Texas at least like 5 times, whether it be on the menu, on the products that
Yeah.
they have, on the wall. The whole entire world knows what Texas is, and
Yeah.
especially with barbecue, if it's coming from Texas, you know it's going to be good.
That's right. Yeah.
Um,
Okay,
so
that makes sense. At our recent Verbos event down in San Antonio, I saw you had a lot of traffic at your table. A lot of people stopped by, talking to you, sampling it. What kind of feedback did you get from the veterans there?
we get a lot of really good feedback from our veterans here in Texas. We're slowly working on being able to be more accessible for veterans. So I'm hoping, towards the end of next year, we're going to be opening up a retail location
Wow.
down here. But we always get amazing traffic, and we try and do as much as we can, like you stated earlier, with nonprofits on being able to give back to actually help those veterans outside of just supplying them with a good product to be able to eat.
Let's talk about that. You are a supporter of nonprofits, and you do provide some. You highlight them and support them. Talk about how you do that.
Really, right off the bat, I learned that starting a small business, you don't have all this donation money to be able to give out like a big corporation does.
Right.
So I learned that if I'm able to create a awesome gift pack or a product and be able to donate it to, say, a silent auction, that product then can turn around and go for $400 to $1,000.
Yeah.
And I'm able to do that times 10 than if I were to sign a check. And those nonprofits are getting 10 times what I could sign a check for.
Sure.
So I learned that right off the bat, and we've continued to do that. And it's sporadic. We'll find good nonprofits that have a legit and true mission that we'll do that with. And then as well, we've done a lot of partnership with like Combined Arms, Alpha Nerd Guilds, and some other nonprofits by giving them an affiliate program with us. A lot of them will have large social media followings. So
Yeah.
if their customers like Alpha Nerd Guilds, a lot of them are gamers and those games are helping them with PTSD, and they're able to provide veterans who need gaming consoles to enter in that community.
Yeah.
Those gaming consoles. Well, a lot of those guys like to sit there and eat beef jerky while they play. So we're able to offer them 15% off and then turn around and give them a 10% kickback of all the sales to their nonprofit.
Wow. Yeah. That's smart. Again, it's collaboration and finding like-minded people, other business owners, veteran or not. I mean, you just talked about some veteran ones, but it could be anyone really. Besides that Burbas event, you've gone to several. You also mentioned another demo. Do you go to those types of events where you have opportunity to showcase your product in public?
Yeah, we do typically an event every single weekend, if not 2.
Wow.
So now that we have the team up and rolling, a lot of the guys have been with us for over a year. While I was in DC this past week, we actually had Jeremy doing an event in Houston. So we're able to kind of spread across and do a lot of stuff, but whether it be one of our retail locations that carry our products, we like to go and do demos out at. We do a lot of veteran events. On Thursday this week, we'll actually be at Google's Austin location selling our products to all their employees there. So,
wow.
And it's another thing to where if I can be face-to-face with someone, or one of our team members be face-to-face and explain the product to that customer, not only are you getting direct communication with the customer, but you're able to provide them with service that can't be beat. And that's how you make a lifetime customer.
No, that's a really good point. It's a smart point because it's easier just to sit in your store, sit in your warehouse, wherever it is, and try to pump out stuff and hope it works. But getting in front of people, making a personal connection, that's how you build, like you said, a lifelong customer. someone who's going to understand your mission, understand you give back to charity, understand you're offering discounts to veterans and first responders, and tell your story for you.
Right. And that's, you gotta, a lot of people will look at stuff and say, how do I make the immediate money now? How
Yeah,
do I do all this quick? How do I become
yeah,
a millionaire overnight? And as you know, none of that happens overnight.
no,
And you have to be playing the long game. And the long game is getting that lifetime value of a customer.
yeah,
And the more and more you can do that, the more and more your business will grow and continue to grow, because not only will they be, an X dollar amount lifetime value, but
right,
they will go and tell their friends, and then
yeah,
their other friends, and then their
yeah,
grandparents, and
yeah.
then they all
Right.
continue to grow.
Yeah, and I didn't comment on it when you said it, but I really like the idea of you donating to nonprofits for nonprofit or for their silent auctions. I think that's a great idea. I've done that as well as a speaker, saying, you can bring me in to speak at your company based on however much you bid on. It's a great way to get your name out there at that event. You can get some pictures of your gift basket there. You're meeting new people that way, and they're going to really appreciate the fact that you're giving them something because it makes them look good.
Right. No, 100%. And that's another form of communication and getting your face out there and talking to people.
Yeah. Um, I was a little surprised when you say you go to one of these demos every week or so. And that's a lot of time out there, but they're all free, right? So it's just your time and your effort that you're using.
Yeah, for the most part, they're all free. We've had a
Yeah.
couple to where they've paid for us to come out, like if it's a long travel or anything like that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I spend more time and lunches inside my truck than I care to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
How'd you line up that
it's
event?
fun. I'm doing something we love.
Yeah, for sure. How did you line up that event with Google in Austin?
So that actually ended up coming up with Glenn from OSD reached out to me about, I want to say it's like a year and a half ago now. Google started a initiative for a veteran-led business, for them to be able to have a special badge on your Google business profile
Yeah.
stating that you're a veteran-owned or led business.
Yeah.
Um, I got that email and instantly changed both my businesses to that,
Yeah.
and then never heard anything else. And then Glenn had sent me a text message saying, hey, do you want to come to this networking event at Google to learn about the resources and everything? I said, heck yeah, this would be awesome.
Right.
We ended up going to it, and it was kind of a how to use Google Business for a
Is this the
first grader
grow
in business.
is this the Grow at Google event?
Yeah, so it was a Grow with Google event. It was their first one that they've done for the vet-led side of things
Okay.
in the Austin location. And they have a small group of veterans that are all real young, anywhere from 20 to 30, that put this event together to help us.
Yeah.
And we went to that. We did a ton of talking back and forth, and then followed back up with them. They wanted an AAR to see, hey, what did we provide you? How can we make it better? And they're allowing veterans for free, if you have a small business, to come in and sell to their 3,000 employees that are on that one facility.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it should be pretty fun. And then not only does it allow you to get very good connections that you can utilize, but you're putting your face and your brand in front of so many people.
Yeah.
And that's honestly the key to success, is to continue to do that.
I imagine you might post a couple of times on social media about that.
Once or twice.
Yeah. Well, this has been great. Jason, you shared a lot of information for folks who are thinking about starting a business and folks who already have been in business, because you learn through success and failure what it takes to push forward. What is next on the horizon for you guys? You talked about 2021. What goals do you have lined up in your head or written out on paper?
Goals right now is we're going to expand the product line just a little bit more. Right now we have quite a few new products already lined up. We're just finalizing labels, product designs. I'm really pushing for a retail location coming soon. When we're dictating whether that'll be Austin or a Houston location, I'm not 100% for sure yet. And then continuing to be able to grow the business and provide veterans with more jobs.
Yeah.
So I would like to be able to grow my staff with hardworking veterans.
And military spouses, right? And I know she's a veteran, but she's a spouse also. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So your website is grillyourassoff.com. How else can people find you?
You can search me personally, just Jason Murff, Murff. If not, everything that we have is just at Grill Your Ass Off.
Okay. So Instagram, everything you mentioned earlier, Snapchat, LinkedIn, TikTok.
Yep, TikTok. Hey, and that's organic growth is one of the best ways to be able to reach out and grow not only your business but your sales and your brand, because it's free to post. And
Yeah.
as of right now, LinkedIn and TikTok are the #1 organic reaches. You can go on there with 0 followers and get hundreds and thousands of views. It's insane. So
that's incredible. So let's just wrap up on that on LinkedIn. So have you seen? I would imagine LinkedIn is a little bit of a tougher. I mean, it's certainly B2B. Not necessarily as friendly as Instagram, where people are scrolling through. There are different platforms. What's your experience on LinkedIn been?
I'm newer on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I created it while I was getting out of the military during my ACAP, just because I had to have it.
Yeah.
So I've recently kind of gone through, created the business profile, started posting more on my personal profile, and really I'm in their re-engineering phase of typically what I do with social media. So I'm taking in a lot of the feedback and then creating into new posts. But what I see on LinkedIn is typically from my generation to your generation of people starting to utilize that more, almost like how Facebook was back in 2009 to 2012, to where it's just more of a social site, and it's no longer just a B2B or let me post my resume here and hope I get a job. It's social interaction. So I think that's why the value is so good there, that your organic reach is still super high and not demonetized like a Facebook or an Instagram. And people are just hopping on there because they're bored at work.
Not in your office.
No, I hope not.
Okay, Jason, again, thanks so much for spending time with me today. I know our veteran users will gain a lot of knowledge and benefit from the lessons you passed on.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate you having me. And if anybody watching this has any questions or insight, feel free to shoot me an email, jason@grillyourassoff.com, or shoot us a message on any of the platforms. I'll be happy to talk to you.
Awesome.